Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am the stepson of Krypton,
And I am Mantis.
and we're coming to you today on a little more of a somber tone, just because obviously everybody knows, or for those of you who don't know, uh, James Earl Jones has passed this week. R.I.P.
Rappy.
to not just Darth Vader. I know that's probably what he's the most popular for, and obviously he's probably done the voice of Darth Vader longer than anything in his collection. But uh, this is one of the greats. This is one of the legends. However, on a positive note, I'll say he did pass at 93, and I don't think anybody can say his life was cut short or that wasn't a life well lived. To make it to 93, especially in this day and age, I think you're doing pretty well. Um, and he was even doing voice over acting up until 91, up until 2 years ago on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So,
Mm-hmm.
he up until the time of his death was still doing what he loved doing. So I don't think as it is, obviously sad to lose, one of the greats in movies and voice acting as well. I don't think you can be too sad about the fact that making it to 93 and still doing what he loved. That's something to celebrate. However, um, it'll be sad to not hear him. I know they'll probably use AI and dub his voiceover. I believe I read somewhere that said that he had sold the rights to his voice so they can use it. Um,
Oh, okay. I didn't know
so
that. That's interesting.
I'm not going to say that's confirmed a fact. That's just one article I had seen when I was reading through information when it
Mm-hmm.
announced that he had passed. So, um, for those of you who don't know, and guys, we're not doing an intro, so we're not doing the same thing we did with Carl Weathers when he passed. We did that video. We're not doing any of the intros and anything like that, like we do in our normal videos. But James Earl Jones been acting since the '60s. He has 190 credits, both voiceover acting and the movies he starred in. Um, I know, and I can't speak for Mantis here. We'll hear it here in a minute, but the first time I saw James Earl Jones, acting before I'd ever seen Star Wars, was Conan the Barbarian. Now that came out in 1982, and obviously, I wasn't born yet. But in '83, when I was born, I'd seen that as a kid. I know that sounds terrible that I saw Conan the Barbarian as a kid, especially before I saw Star Wars. But where he played Thulsa Doom, that was the first time I had seen James Earl Jones. That was my first, experience. What was yours, Mantis?
Yeah, I know we talked about this previously, and I was got to thinking about this because I at first had agreed with you that I think Dulce Doom was the first time I'd seen him or experienced James Earl Jones. I would probably say, quite honestly, that I'd think about it. The first time I had seen him, or I guess the first time I had heard him was probably as Darth Vader, just because of that's the first like big movie my dad let me watch with him, like that had him in it. He wouldn't let me watch any Conan the Barbarian. Although I do, we talked about this. I love that role for him. But I think the first live action that I saw him in was Field of Dreams, which is a I'm a big baseball fan, so and I will say, and this is not just me saying this. I know a lot of men say this is the only movie they've ever cried to. That movie is very holds a very deep place for me. Not only just as a baseball movie, but as a movie that I could watch with my dad. So that movie is awesome, and that was the first movie that kind of introduced me to him as an actor, as a physical actor. So uh, and if you haven't seen that movie, you need to watch it because he does a great monologue toward the end of the movie. And
They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children.
his character in that movie, and I'm just gonna kind of go through he evolves through that movie, and it's actually interesting because you talk about voice acting and all the voice acting that he's done as a working actor. And this is not a big reveal here. Everyone knows he's done The Lion King. It's weird that I had watched Star Wars before The Lion King, but I did. And I think he did. I could be wrong. I thought he did the voice in the new remake as well. Could be wrong
Mhm.
there, but I think he did. Okay,
I am.
so yeah, so he did both. But it's it sucks in these situations. You know that we want to be somber, and we're upset because one of our childhood actors that we've known to play this role and these roles for a long time has passed, and just got me thinking about it a couple days ago when we were talking about this in Discord. We're not getting any younger. And a lot of the actors that we grew up watching, especially ones that were playing older roles, even then when we first saw the movies that in the '80s and stuff, I mean, they're getting old. They're getting to that point. You mentioned Morgan Freeman is getting old, and it sucks, quite frankly. It really sucks. Some of these great voice acting and character actors that are passing away. And James Earl Jones he grew up in Mississippi. I mean, as you can tell by his accent, he's got a great deep voice. He could have been a great singer, probably an opera singer if he wanted to. But he did stage plays. He's a graduate of Michigan University. He did. And you guys know, as if you're a fan of the channel, I'm a big sports guy and I love football. And I'm not really a Michigan fan, but he does do the voice intro narration of the Michigan Wolverines football team intro, and it's really good. Because you brought this up, if like who else would you do narration? It's like
Well, hold
Morgan
up. So
Freeman or
I want to ask this question to the channel. This is important, guys,
okay,
because
yeah,
you'd said we were talking the other day about Morgan Freeman. Like, we can't afford to lose him now because like we're gonna have to like cryogenically freeze him so we don't lose him. Um, but for the channel, who has the more comforting voice? Like, who would you want to fall asleep listening to them read you a bedtime story at night? Morgan Freeman or James Earl Jones? Because like they two of the people I think have the best narration voices that are just so
hmm
calming and soothing. Similar. I mean, I think James Earl Jones has a deeper voice, but they both have a very similar. Like as far
hmm
as just that it is a deeper, but it's just this calm. So let us know, like who would be your calming meditation, guiding meditation voice, James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman? So since obviously RIP James Earl Jones, we can't afford to lose Morgan Freeman now.
no. No, and like I said, he not only was uh, a voiceover actor and a character actor stuff, but he did. I mean, he started like most actors. They start out on the stage, um, and like I said, he. Were you gonna say something?
No, I was
Oh,
just
sorry.
exhaling.
Sorry.
It's the boom mic, man.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm on a different mic
Ah.
today, so it picks up everything.
Yeah, so he did act on stage. Actually, it's kind of interesting. One of the stage performance he did of the play The Great White Hope. He also he played the same character in the movie that they did. So he got both roles as a stage actor for that role and as the film adaptation of that. And I mean, you can look. I'm not going to go. I don't think we're going to go through all of his filmography, but he's been credited on a lot of films. But like you said, I think most have been known. Most know him as the voice of Darth Vader. Which, little fun fact, because everyone misquotes this line. The most famous line he has in all three films, I think, is "No, I am your father." When a lot of people think it's Luke, I'm your father. He actually doesn't say Luke in that line. So
He told me you killed him. No, I am your father.
just a funny little fun fact there. But I will say, if that's all you've seen him in, you need to go watch other films that he's been in, including Conan, which is a great film.
I think it's amazing because you talked about him being in theater. The man is about 6'2", He's a pretty decent sized guy, and
He's
with that
kind of
deep
tall.
voice,
Yeah.
he's got a pretty commanding presence, right? So I gotta imagine in theater, like he commands the stage, right? And the one thing I love
Hmm.
about him is, for me personally, just speaking to me personally, there are very few actors that I absolutely love seeing play a villain as much as I do a hero or a good guy.
Hmm.
Really, the only two that mainly come to mind right now, and it's just because I'm not thinking about too many, like try to focus on us recording here, is James Earl Jones. He like again in Conan, he's the bad guy in that. But I love
Yep.
seeing him play like in Coming to America, playing King Joffrey. Like he plays the king.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
Yep.
then Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman's another one that we're not
Oh,
going to go
that's a
too far to a
great one.
tangent, but he plays
Yeah.
such good guys, but also I love seeing him as the villain. So I always think it's a great thing when you have an
Mhm.
actor that you can root for, or at least like you love seeing play both, right? Even if you hate him, because like if you hate him, that means like they're doing something right as the villain, right? Like
Yeah.
they're
They did
able
their
to,
job.
yeah, they're playing the part. And Mantis had brought up Field of Dreams. I am not a baseball fan at all. The only professional baseball game I've seen is with Mantis. We went on one game. But I love Field of Dreams, and he's great in it. There's a lot of good. There's a character arc there. There's a good, and I feel like with a lot of his movies like that, like his roles, either he's playing some commanding, like he's playing King Joffrey, he's playing in the Lion King, he's playing King
Yeah.
Mufasa. He's always playing these like epic roles, or Darth Vader. Is
Hmm.
he's always playing that commanding role, and it's just like, it doesn't matter what he's in. You love seeing him play it, and he plays him so well.
Yeah. It sucks again. Oh, excuse me, that we're losing these actors. But again, um, if you haven't, I know most of you probably watching this have seen Star Wars. Go out and watch another movie he's been in. Go watch one that you haven't seen that he plays a decent amount. That he's not just in it for 2 seconds or whatever. Go out and watch one of the movies. And you can IMDb it. I mean, there's plenty out there. Um, but I think you owe it to him and you owe it to yourself to watch uh, other characters that he's played, even if it is that Great White Hope. It's an old movie, but it's pretty good. So,
Well,
um,
and when Mantis is talking about going and seeing other movies he's been in, he's one of 14 actors or actresses, any film stars in the in business that has won. He has an Oscar, an Emmy, a Tony, and what's the other one? Um,
Golden Globe.
Golden Globe. But he has one. I think he has two Tony Awards, but he has one of all of those he's won. So I mean, he's again, he's done a lot of really really great movies. And then I started thinking he voices one of the Unas in Stargate, and then the last episode of season one of Lois and
I
Clark: The
didn't
New
know that.
Adventures of Superman, he plays the guy who buys the Daily Planet after it gets bombed by Lex. And he's playing in that as well too. I was started thinking, I was like, I was going back watching. I was like, oh wait, he's in that as well. He kind of just shows up in all these areas. Hell, he was even in the Big Bang Theory, even though he played himself in that for the one episode.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's actually funny because like the original or the actor that plays or that when you get revealed to see, because I'm going back to Star Wars here, when they reveal what Darth Vader looks like, and that's actually Sebastian Shaw, who you see, the deformed version of Darth Vader there. I gotta say, I was almost disappointed. And maybe that's not a slight on Sebastian Shaw. Is his acting there at all? Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you hear the voice of Darth Vader and the acting of David Prowse through three films until the very end of the third film, and when he's revealed and kind of what goes down there is almost disappointing. And it's not, like I said, not due to Sebastian Shaw's acting. It's literally how great of a voice actor James Earl Jones was in the Darth Vader. So, um, I guess kind of wrap this up for me. I would say it sucks. R.I.P. It's death is something that comes for us all, unfortunately, at some point. So, um, again, I would say like most of the time, don't dwell on people dying, but kind of go back and specifically because of the art that most of these actors do is very distributed. You can go back and relive all the good stuff that they did and all the movies they've been in and all the films and plays. So I do encourage everyone to go check out something that you haven't seen from him because all of it's very good.
Hunt for the Red October.
Oh, that's a great one too.
That's a that's
It's a
a
great
that's
one
another
too.
good one.
Yeah.
I will say I think that's and we did another. We I don't want to make it seem like we're only hand picking and choosing who we do these videos, these farewell videos on. But they're people who had impacts on our lives when we were growing up, right? We did a Carl one when Carl Weathers passed. Um,
Yeah.
because obviously through the Rocky movies, through Happy Gilmore, through so many other movies he did, he impacted our youth, and we grew up with him on the screen. Same thing
Yeah.
with James Earl Jones. And the one thing that you can kind of like that's great is like you said, you can kind of go back and watch these movies again, and it kind of keeps their memory preserved and alive in these. Um,
Hmm.
but the thing that I'm hoping for is I'm waiting to see who's the next people to take their place, right? Like who is gonna be this generation's James Earl Jones, Carl Weathers, Morgan Freeman's, who's gonna carry Sidney Poitier's, who's gonna carry the
Hmm.
next generation of people that like fans are going to want to do these in 40, 50, 60 years, that are going to say, hey, these people, like as far as my movie, TV, game
Hmm.
experience, like they impacted that life, that part of my life so much because I grew up watching the things they're doing. um who's ready to take that mantle? And the scary part for me is like I don't feel like there's a lot out there right now, a lot of actors or actresses that are there to pick up that kind of a mantle, right? And you want them to be. You're looking for those people that are gonna, you know, again step into those roles and just crush it at everything they play, and you know hit you in the feels when you're watching these things.
I
And
know. I in here. I'll just say this, and I don't know if it's everyone says this because at the time you don't realize what you're watching. Because like I always go back to music, because I'm a big music guy, but also this, but I'm a big fan of the '80s music, but also this we've talked about this before. '80s seems to be the greatest time for action stars and film in general. Quite frankly, I don't know why, but it seems to be, and maybe that's just our perspective on it, and maybe stuff that coming out nowadays, people that are watching these films come out now that we're like, oh, they're good, but like it was better in my day, right? Like maybe they're going to feel the same way that we feel about these actors and these movies and these musicians. I don't know. I hope it is. I mean, I'm just thinking like Tom Cruise, right? Like Tom Cruise was big when we were growing up. Like maybe Tom Cruise is kind of that actor for them. I don't know. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe they're just starting out. I don't know.
the only
I
problem with
mean,
Tom Cruise is like he's an amazing action star, and being that he is like 60 and still does his own stunts is absolutely amazing. But he isn't going to make it to 90 doing that, right? Like
he's
he's not
not.
going to be 90
No.
running down the Burj Khalifa, whereas like a lot of the actors we hit, the aforementioned actors there, like they're so good because they're so versatile in their roles. And
Yeah.
like they have such a wide range, and they can really just command a performance. Where Tom Cruise, don't get me wrong, I think he's great. Tropic Thunder, he does comedy very well, but he does action very well. But I don't know that I could take him seriously in like a drama, or something like that, or a period piece.
I
Um,
I was gonna say like the only one I could think of at the top of my head, just out of the blue, is Interview with a Vampire. I think is his own like series. It's not even like I don't even think that film was a horror flick. It kind of is, but like to me, that's more drama than anything.
I'd say it's more drama than
Yeah,
horror.
I mean, and honestly, he was okay. Like it's an okay movie in the grand scheme of things. But that's the only and I know people are going to roast us in the comments for all of the movies we didn't think of literally within the last 30 seconds off the top of our head, but like that to me that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I think maybe you're right. Maybe there's just these great character actors are just going away, and we're just, unfortunate for Gen Z or X or whoever the hell else it is, like just unfortunate.
And kind of wrapping up here, guys, if you are part of that younger generation watching these, let us know because, again, I start to look at things and I start to realize I sound more and more like a dad, even though I don't have kids every day, where I'm thinking that I'm like, oh, there's not this. In my day, like Manson said, my day, we had
Yeah.
this. Let us know because it's hard to see from like I'll say, I'll just speak for me from my perspective because I see the world and I see things differently than how somebody who's going to be in their teens and early 20s is seeing something. So let us know, like, is there a current actor, younger actor that is that for you? Or are you in the same boat
Yeah.
as us? And these guys are, like I said, we got to hold on to the Morgan Freemans and all of that of the world. And so, to
Yeah.
kind of wrap up, guys, I'll say we're not going to do our usual, and anything we always wait to the end to do, just because that's not what this video is about. It's just paying tribute to a legend. Um, like I said, obviously always sad when they do go, but I think at 93 years old we can celebrate the life he had, and I don't think
Long life.
not to bring it up, but I don't think it's like a Chadwick Boseman kind of situation where somebody who was taken in their early 40s versus at
Mm,
93. I think we all feel pretty fortunate if we made it to 93 and that was our checkout time, right? So while we're
yeah.
sad you're gone, James Earl Jones, gone but not forgotten. But you had a great run, and you made an impact on a lot of people. So I don't think that's going to be soon forgotten. He's going to go down as one of uh, entertainment's legends. So,
Yes, I agree.
all right, Mantis, do you have anything else before we go?
Nope.
All right, then, guys, from you, me, and DC, so R.I.P. James Earl Jones. I definitely say kind of mirroring Mantis, go check out some of his other works if you've only known him from Star Wars. And until then, guys, we will see you on the next one.
Later.